So in this gardening article, I'm going to hopefully impart to new gardeners 5 little tricks that I use to grow larger yields in smaller spaces. And this really means that people can start to garden on their patios or on their balconies or even in containers by learning a few simple tricks of containing plants but increasing their yield at the same time. The first trick is trellising, and that means growing anything that grows tall in a vertical um, manner as opposed to letting it sprawl all over the ground. A good example of that would be berries, as we can see in this picture. The metal trellis that you see in the background is actually a Home Depot product, and it's used in building concrete sidewalks. But it's roughly 8 feet by 4 feet, and it's $8. So it's not only effective, it's cheap, and it's strong, and it really helps to support a great many plants. Um, Later in this season, this berry plant will have taken it over completely. But trellising is really a good way of utilizing space because you grow things in a vertical column as opposed to a flat horizontal plane. This scene does a couple of things for us. One, it's another example of a trellis. This is the type of trellis that I use for training tomato plants. But this is also a good look at how to space plants and how to use space wisely. Along the upper right corner, you'll see corn plants growing along with onions. And those onions will come out long before the corn is ready or takes over the sun. In the center, just off of the shovel on the left side, you'll see a couple of wooden trellises. Those yellow flowers are cucumbers, which will grow up those trellises, freeing the space underneath of them for other things. When you learn to water your plants appropriately, you end up with these huge yields. Plants are very happy to produce. It's how they survive. It's how they pass their genes along. And so the more you treat them in a kind manner, the more they give to you. This is a shot of a mixture of small tomatoes that came off of, I think, 3 different plants. But this is what I was harvesting every week, so that's pretty tremendous. This is a photograph of a garden. It's really a good example of plant spacing. You can see that there is space between the plants, but also between the rows, and that's really an important aspect. When when plants have to struggle for root zone, then they don't produce. So you want to make sure you give your plants enough room. And some of the methods that I talk about in this article will help you to maximize plant spacing and increase your yield. This is another example of good plant spacing. And even though it looks like this is really sparse, these chard plants are going to grow pretty large and they're going to take up all of the space between them. So don't be fooled when you plant a seedling thinking you're having too much space. Follow the instructions that you have on your seed packet and you can't go wrong.